Very good. I'll get us rolling then. My name is Kathy Andrews. I'm a senior librarian for adult services and adult literacy with the Salinas Public Library. And I'd like to introduce the two staff members who will be presenting today. It's Margarita Medina and Suzanne Crichton. Margarita is a literacy assistant. She has been with the Salinas Public Library for over 20 years, getting up towards 25. And I would say that her focus on serving the community really helps our program keep in touch with the needs and aspiration of the community and of our learners. Suzanne is a literacy specialist. She's got a pretty deep commitment to an understanding of volunteer training and support, and a lot of skill in teaching and tutoring adult learners. It was in 2016 that Margarita had her first exposure to Google Classroom in a program or project with First Five Monterey. And when she saw it, she thought, that could be really useful. She brought it to the computer classes that we do. And then when the pandemic hit in 2020, this team really literally turned on a dime and made our services available virtually, practically before we were all back from the initial several-week break. And the family reading circles, which are one of our family literacy service, one of our most popular programs, was the next place that Google Classroom came to. And it really, in those early days of the pandemic, it really gave families a place of refuge and a way to be connected with their children. It also helped with citizenship when people were having to study virtually be supported virtually as they work towards their citizenship. And it was so popular, the family reading circles were so popular that when participants begged for something more, Margarita went to work and put together Get on Board Families, which ran through the summer and gave parents and children activities and things to do together throughout that first summer of the pandemic. Since then, we've used it, we've launched it, relaunched sites, and this group, I'm so proud every day to work with them because they just keep finding new ways to use it and new ways to serve the community. Our goals today are really for staff who have not used Google Classrooms. We hope that you will have enough confidence after today's presentation that you will try it, and if it looks good for you, you'll find a way to integrate it. And then staff who are already using Google Classrooms, we hope that you may recognize some ways that we're using it that you might be able to level up with your Google Classroom use. So with that, let me just mention, I'll be monitoring the chat. If you have questions, pop them in there. If there's anything we need to ask in the moment, I'll break in, but otherwise we'll do it at the end. But at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Margarita and Suzanne.
Thank you, Kathy. So it's always tricky to figure out how to split presentations like this. So I'm just going to blab away, and then Margarita, as our early adopter and really the person who spearheaded using Google Classroom, she's going to jump in with all the things I miss and with any specific insights that she has on how to use this technology. I am struggling a bit with allergies at the moment, so I have my trusty water. If I lose my voice, be patient with me. And we will get started. Okay, so Google Classroom. Oh, hold on a minute. Of course, it's disappeared on me, but we'll get it back. Don't worry. Okay. So today, what we're going to cover is we're going to talk about why we use Google Classroom in the first place. What's the purpose of using this technology? How does it help us? How does it help us serve the community, which is ultimately our goal? We're going to take a little bit of a look at how we use it. We use it in various different ways in our program, and we're going to show you examples of the different ways that we've integrated it into our classes. We'll talk a little bit about the requirements for using Google Classroom. So any of you that want to jump on it and haven't used it before can feel comfortable just getting started. We'll do a quick overview of what the classroom looks like and how it works. And towards the end, we'll lead you through a little how-to. So we'll actually, Margarita and I will walk through setting up a Google Classroom just so you can see how easy it is and how accessible it is to any of your programs. And at the end, we'll do a little Q&A. But as Kathy said, don't forget, if you have a question in the moment, then do jump on the chat and ask it. And Kathy can always interrupt us and read out those questions and we'll answer them. Okay. Are we ready to go, Margarita?
Yes.
Yes, we are. Okay. So let's take a look. Why Google Classroom? Is it because we get paid lots of money by Google to advertise their products, Margarita?
Nope.
No, sadly not. No, it's not. We use it for one of the reasons because it's free. Google, every Gmail account comes with a range of very sophisticated applications, and we all have access to them with our Gmail accounts for absolutely nothing, which means our learners do too. This makes the whole Google Suite and Google Classroom extremely accessible to our community. You can use it on your phone, you can use it on a tablet, you can use it on a Kindle, you can use it on a desktop computer. So it's very accessible and it costs nothing. It's also very compatible with more expensive Office software like Microsoft. So Google Sheets, Google Docs, they're all compatible with Word, with Excel. So anything that our learners learn in using the Google applications, they can apply in their work with other applications as well. One of the reasons we love Google Classroom is because it's open 24/7. It's completely accessible. Our participants can jump in and use the classroom anytime they want to. So they're not confined to the 1 hour and a half a week that we get to see them and we get to work with them. They can go into their classroom, they can access their work, they can access resources, and they can ask us questions. Another one of the reasons we love it is because it's really focused on communication. There are lots of different ways in the classroom, built into the classroom, that you can use to communicate with your participants and that they can use to communicate with each other. And that's one of the reasons that we love it. It's technology, but it's technology with a human face. We can really share things online, and we'll show you examples of what that looks like a little bit later on. Another reason we love it is that it is Google is the global software company of choice for education. Our Families for Literacy families have given us direct feedback saying that using Google Classroom in our programs has helped them to understand their children's Google Classrooms as well. So they're able to jump in there, check their work, they're able to troubleshoot things with their kids. And by the same token, they're also able to ask their children when they need help with using Google Classroom for our programs. So we found it very useful. Are there any other specific reasons, Margarita, or have we covered it?
Yeah, besides communication, collaboration. So,
Yeah.
I mean, children as well as teachers and the school. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great thing. And we hope that, we can inspire some of you to try it. And we hope that those of you who have tried it can also share how you use it at the end so we can get some inspiration from you about different ways that we could use it. Okay, so how do we use Google Classroom? We use it in kind of 3 core ways, I would say. And I'm actually going to start with the second one first. We have more passive classrooms that we use as kind of resource centers, mini resource centers. Those classrooms aren't about completing assignments. They're not about academic work. They're not really about communication. They are places where we can direct learners, tutors, volunteers, and staff to find specific information. I have a couple of examples here that might make that a little bit clearer. During the pandemic, we had a more active Google Classroom for citizenship. just because we weren't able to meet in person. Now we're back to meeting in person again. We relaunched our classroom, and now it serves as more of an information hub than it does an active classroom. So I'll show you what that looks like. Fingers crossed, and it worked.
It did.
Okay, so what we do here is we have, so give you a little look at classwork first. We're going to go through some of the administrative stuff a little bit later. We'll show you how that works later on in the session. Just now, I just want to show you how we've kind of laid it out. These large headings are called topics. You create your topics, then you populate the topics with either reference materials or assignments or reflection questions. So we have a space for any USCI updates. When there's any updates that we receive in our inboxes, we can immediately post them into the classroom, and everyone who's a member of the classroom will receive a notification saying that there's been an update and they might want to come in and take a look. We have all the information on applying for citizenship. There's copies of the N400 forms. It's really easy because YouTube now belongs to Google. So YouTube videos are highly compatible with Google Classroom. So we can post video tutorials on how to create your USCIS account in English and Spanish. We have also materials that we've created. So we have the interview agenda materials, we have the oath, we have 100 questions, resources, information on our elected officials. You'll see some of them are dark gray, some of them are light gray. The light gray ones are activities, assignments, or materials that we haven't posted yet. These kind of information centers don't require a lot of interaction. They don't require a lot of maintenance, but you do have to make sure they're kept up to date. And every now and then you have to remind people that they're there. So we keep some things back for a surprise, and every now and then we'll release some new information or we'll release a quiz. And that reminds people that the resources are there for them. We also have a lot of tech tutorials in here as well. We have Zoom tutorials. Our citizenship class, we have 2 in-person classes a week and 1 virtual class, and it uses Zoom. So in here, we also have tutorials on how to use Zoom on your smartphone, how to use it on a laptop or a desktop. And we also have reference materials for how to sign up for Rosetta Stone, Mango, USA Learns, all that good stuff. So this is an example of one of the classrooms that we really use for storing information. I'm going to close that so I don't click on it again later. We can also use it for training. This is a classroom that we are currently building. During the pandemic, we had a lot of virtual volunteers come on board, and we're trying to figure out ways to train them. So we created an online classroom with training materials. And now that the pandemic's over, we still think there's some kind of value in that, and having a resource center for our tutors that they can come to and find the information they need. Again, we'll talk about the admin stuff a little bit later. So what you might do is do an in-person orientation with your tutors and then direct them to the classroom where they can do some follow-up work. So this is for everyone. We have a lot of different volunteers that come here. We have one-on-one tutors. We have CSUMB service learners. The local technical school sends us work study students. So they have lots of different roles. So we have general information on getting started with your learners. Getting to know your learner. There's a lot of the CLLS videos are in here. We've linked to them. Then we're asking people to watch the video and then reflect on what you learned. And then it all comes together at the end in these kind of reflective questions. Do you feel prepared for your first meeting? As they complete these reflective questions, we're sent notifications, and we can read their responses and then give them feedback based on that. From there, I don't know if Sheila's here today from Opportunity to Read. If she is, then she'll notice that we've stolen some of her fantastic inspired learning model information. And in there, we have the video on active listening that we encourage all of our tutors to read. From there, it'll get split down into literacy instruction, computer class support, citizenship support, ESL, information for CSUMB students or Central Coast College students with the paperwork they need. So again, that's less of an interactive classroom or a learning classroom than it is a resource center, a repository for information. The other two kinds of classroom we have are very active classrooms. They're very different and they do require a bit more work, as Margarita and I know very well. You know, you really get from these programs what you're willing to put into them. And if you're willing to put in a bit of love, a bit of passion, and a bit of effort, then your learners recognize that and they respond to it and they give you it back. And we'll show you some examples later. We have two kind of active programs. We have the computer classes that Margarita started for our computer literacy students, for our intermediate and advanced classes. And they're more they have more of an academic focus, I would say. Academic's not the right word, Margarita, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have our learners look at assignments, we have them create responses, we have them submit those responses, we grade them, we give them feedback, and we turn them back to them. So it's more of a kind of a more traditionally kind of academic use of a classroom. This is also helpful because a lot of junior colleges and universities use Google versions of Google software as well. So it gets them used to that kind of turn it in kind of college exercise. It's not unusual for them when they move on from us and go to college level to do their technology training. The other kind of program we have is generally for our families, for literacy families, and we're not so interested in having them complete and submit assignments. What we want them to do is to access our materials in the classroom and engage around them, engage with us and engage with each other. And Google Classroom is just a really good tool for that kind of communication. And again, we'll show you that a little bit later. Before we show you those classrooms, we're going to talk through just a few of the, I guess, pros of using Google Classroom. If I'm going too fast or anything, do say it in the chat and we'll slow down and take a breath. These are some of the positive attributes of using Google Classroom in your literacy instruction. We all work in literacy, so we all know that we really don't have a lot of time. Everyone's busy, everyone's understaffed and under-resourced. One of the great things about Google Classroom is you can create your classroom when you have time to create your classroom, and then it's just ready for you to launch when your program is ready to go. We've kept evolving it as we've used it, and one of the great innovations that we've brought to what we do was when Margarita started scheduling all our announcements and everything in our classroom. Margarita, do you want to speak a little bit about how we can use Google Classroom to schedule?
Well, that is the beauty besides that also. So remember that we, can borrow some of the lessons from Applied Digital Skills as well as having our curriculum. Yes, so it is easy and simple. How to post a question, reminder, or even, say thank you at the end, or that is a way of communication, you can say. But those are schedule, so we don't have to worry about whether to do last minute or we forget, and also recognize for those who are kind of attending, that is a way that we motivate them and keep coming, attending the classes every time.
Yeah, I think that's super important, that motivation. Like I said before, your students will get out of this what you're willing to put into it. And it used to be Margarita and I were typing last minute notes, says, thank you for coming. And then she's like, why are we doing this? Why don't we save ourselves some trouble and schedule them? So now, before we even launch our computer classes, Margarita's already pre-scheduled all the greetings. Say, oh, we're looking forward to seeing you in class at 4 p.m. today. She's pre-scheduled all the thank yous to say, hey, thanks for coming to class. We had a great session. And that doesn't mean that we don't post spontaneously in between. It just, we're all overworked. We're all understaffed. It just allows us to to manage our time a little bit better. It's a really good resource for time management.
Right. And even so, we have also the agenda for the that particular 6 or 10-week program or whatever the courses. So that is also, we kind of pre-schedule what is going to be covered this week.
Yeah, exactly, which was a
Yeah.
great innovation and a great evolution for us, because we used to, initially we posted all of the materials, and people would get confused and they'd jump around and they'd get ahead and they get confused and we'd be like, okay, no, this isn't working. Right? You say, okay, as she does, she went, well, there's a solution to this. So let's figure out what that solution is. And now we pre-schedule everything. So all of our materials for the next week are scheduled to go out on the Friday. The class is on the Tuesday. By that point, everyone has seen the materials. They have an idea what they're doing, and then we'll walk through it in the in-person classes. So the scheduling is a fantastic feature of Classroom. It also allows us to do a lot of our administrative work for the classes. So we don't use, I think, is it America Learns? I believe it's America Learns is the software, the tutor software. We don't use that at Salinas. We don't need to, because we have Margarita, and she is a bit of a genius with Excel. So what we do is, the rest of us, the literacy staff, we gather data in our Google Drive on a kind of an everyday basis. Then Margarita will pull from that, and she will add it to our main database for reporting purposes. We have all our intake forms for our learners. We have our pre-surveys, our post-surveys. What else do we have, Margarita?
Attendance.
Yes. We have our attendance as well. They're all posted as Google Forms in the classroom. They just click on the Google form, print it out, and then we have a record of their attendance. Because the Google Forms are linked to spreadsheets, all we have to do is link it to the spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet populates with all of the information from our learners, their contact information, their attendance information, and then Margarita can sift through that and pull out what she needs to pass on for reporting. So would you say it's made things easier or harder for you, Margarita?
Well, that's easier because, so we can keep track of everything, whether it is, so participants, setting goals, completing goals. Everything actually.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons we love it. Assignments and reflection. Yes, obviously you can use Google Classroom to post assignments. That's what it's there for, to post resources, to post assignments. I really like the reflection feature it has. It has a question option. So at the end of every unit, you can include a reflective question. It's just a very simple question. The learners can give you some direct feedback at every stage of the program. We do have a pre-survey and a post-survey, but it's really nice to get those little snapshots at the end of each section on how things are going and how people are feeling about their work. And because it's kind of set aside, it's not us going, how's everything going? I think you'll all experience the learners who go, yeah, it's great, we love it. And then you find out that they're actually struggling with something. They're just too polite to say so. There's less of a filter online. There's more of a distance between you and the participant. So they feel a little more free to say, oh, I'm struggling with this, or, I wish Susanna would speak a bit more slowly or something like that. So we can get that kind of immediate feedback. Support and communication. You'll see when we look at the classrooms that there are multiple different ways for our learners to get in touch with us built into the classroom. And we can look at that a little bit later. One of the reasons we love it is because we can add materials in time. We sort of mentioned that with the citizenship class a little earlier. So if there's an update from the USCIS that appears in our work email, we can just turn straight around and post that in our classroom. Some of our family programs, we listen. It's a really big deal for us. And it's a really big, something that Margarita always stresses whenever we do, especially our family programs. Listen to what your learners want. They're telling us what they need. We have to listen to them. And if you set up the means for them to tell you what they want, then we can respond to it immediately. So if they say, hey, I need something relating to blah, 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 or my child really responds to nonfiction books and all these are fiction, we can go, no problem. Here's a bunch of materials. And we can post them like that. 5 minutes later, it's done. The Google Classrooms are fairly easy to set up, as you'll see later. But another useful thing is that you can copy them. So you don't have to set them up individually every time. So we create a beautiful Google Classroom for our intermediate and advanced class. At the end of the session, we make a copy of it. We update it with all the feedback we've gotten from our learners about what they want to study. And then we simply archive the old classroom. When you archive the classroom, it remains there. You can access it at any time you want. It's just not active anymore. No one can post on it, and it removes all the participants from the classroom, but all your old classrooms can stay in there, and you can restore them and make copies of them anytime you want. So it's pretty easy to set up. Does that cover pretty much everything?
Yeah, that's actually, and also remember that we can, recycle and use some of the forms. So,
Yeah.
for instance, so we can get, kind of get the pre-survey from previous or the archive class. So that is, that is the beauty of using Google Classroom and
Yeah.
all the information, all the that Google offers.
Yeah, it is a big time saver when you don't have to recreate everything every time. You can just make a copy of it. You're done. Okay, and just change the date, change the color, make it look a little bit different. Nobody's any the wiser. So yeah, there are some of the reasons that we really like it. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so what are the requirements for Google Classroom? A Gmail account. They are the requirements for a Google Classroom. We don't have an educational account from Google. We don't have a business account from Google. We have your average standard Gmail account that anyone in the whole wide world could sign up for now. As a library literacy program, we're not allowed to have the a G Suite for education. That's only for K-12 public education schools. There are some things that we can't do without that, but nothing that we need to be able to do, nothing that we can't work around. It is more than sophisticated enough to meet our needs and meet our learners' needs. So you really don't need anything. We do pay for a Google One subscription just because we have so many Google Classrooms and we use Google for so much. We pay for a Google One subscription, which is $20 a year, and that gives us extra storage. And again, anyone can do that. It's just a basic personal account, and we pay $20 a year to have extra storage put on it. You don't need that. If you've only got a couple of classrooms and you don't use your Gmail account for anything else, then you're not going to need that. For your learners to join the classroom, they must have a Gmail account as well. All they have to do is sign up for a Gmail address. We always recommend that our learners set up a new account especially for our computer classes. Classrooms do send a lot of notifications to your participants. So we don't really want that to get mixed up with their personal account. So we often recommend that they set up a separate account to do their literacy work. It can't be an institutional address. So for example, the junior college down the street, they use G Suite for Education. So they're a Google affiliated email addresses, but they won't allow you to use a classroom outside of that institution. They have firewalls up that don't allow those students to register for outside classrooms. So they have to use a personal Gmail account to enter your classroom, but that's really all that's required. You had a tip yesterday, Margarita, for email addresses, I believe. Could you share that with me? How to make your email addresses appropriate. I think you'd learned something at OTAN.
Oh, yeah. So that is something, what I learned was that when setting up a Gmail, so make sure that it's, for instance, your organization is working with volunteers. So you need to set up your Gmail that is related to what you are doing. So for instance, we're not gonna do something related to families when in reality it's for adults. Or if the name or your organization, you can put SPL, for instance, and the numbers and letters at gmail.com. So that is, and when created the Gmail, So make sure that you are doing for the organization, not a personal. So that way, when you share, remember they are going to be sharing the Gmail, and maybe multiple, staff are going to use it. So that is why. So we need to be very careful not to use any personal email. And if at some point you need to use your personal email, so that has to be as a secondary Gmail.
Yeah, that's really important. You don't want to, as an organization, you don't want to set it up with, margarita@gmail.com. That's not going to work. And it's not going to tell your participants what they need to see. It has to be recognizable to them. We're working in literacy. We need to keep things as simple and as clear as possible. We have multiple Gmail accounts. So I'll give you an example here. Our initial account was set up for our computer classes. So it's computer class SPL. We have our spl.literacy.volunteer account. We have our literacy SPL account, we have a lot of Gmail accounts. So yeah, just make your Gmail relevant. Kathy, did you have something you wanted to say? You've appeared. Was there a question, or are you just appearing? You're good?
We had a question about the personal account that Literacy was using, but I'm hoping that what you just shared made it more clear that multiple staff have access to it, and that though it is a personal account, it's really shared by everybody in Literacy. Everybody knows how to access it. It's only used for the particular purpose in Literacy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, and what's required in terms of digital literacy? It's really very basic what's required in terms of digital literacy. That's one of the reasons why we have these kind of separate accounts for our separate classrooms for our more academic classes and our more interactional classes. So the classroom for our computer literacy students is a little more complicated. We have to guide them through accessing assignments, turning in assignments, unsubmitting them if they want to make changes, resubmitting them. And that's a bit of a steeper learning curve. For the classrooms that are really focused on communication, we don't have to do that. We really just have to show people how to get into the classroom. And then it's simply clicking links from there on and writing posts like you would do on social media. So a real basic level of digital literacy is required, but we always include an orientation to our classrooms. In our orientations, we talk about Classroom very specifically. We show people how to use it, and we offer them ongoing support in using the classroom as well. It's a bit kind of meta, but you'll notice in our classrooms, we have presentations on how to use the classroom. So once we've got people in there, if they forget what's going on, they just have to click on the link, and the presentation walks them through how to use that classroom. So yeah, just be prepared to offer orientation on how to use it and ongoing support in using it, and you'll be fine. It really doesn't require a great deal of digital literacy, and I know that's a big concern for a lot of people. Does that about cover it, Margarita?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these classrooms. So we want to give you an idea of the basic layout of the classroom. The classroom from your perspective, from the literacy provider's perspective, has 4 main pages. It has the stream, classwork, people, and grades. And we'll take a look at all of those different things. From the participants' perspective, they only have the first 3 pages. They have access to the stream, they have access to classwork, and they have access to people. So let me show you what it looks like. We'll take a look at, let's have a look at our computer class first. Okay, it says class not found. Don't worry, I just have to change my account. Okay, so this is our stream. This stream operates like Facebook, basically. It operates like social media. So you can create posts. Thanks, everyone. Don't forget to track your attendance. It's super simple. Hi, good to see you all. Okay, and then just post it. And then your participants can reply to those posts. These posts are public. When I say public, I only mean in terms of the people who are registered and authorized to be in your classroom. No one else can see anything that's posted outside of your classroom members. But this is a public posting area. Here you will also see when you release new assignments, they appear as notifications in this post. And each of those notifications will be sent as an email to your participants. So they know that when new materials have been released, or they'll know when new information has been released. You can see up here, if you see where it says saved announcements, that's a little example of what we were talking about a little bit earlier. So here are the announcements that Margarita scheduled for our last class tomorrow. Can you believe it's our last class this week? Okay. So hi, everyone. Look forward to seeing you all at 4. So these were scheduled, what, in March, Margarita?
I think so.
March, April?
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there waiting to be posted. If you change your mind, if a class gets canceled, if something happens, it's super easy. Just click on it to edit it or to cancel it. And you can delete these saved announcements anytime you like. So this is our stream page. Let's have a look at classwork. This is where we put all our announcements. We talked a little bit earlier about how we do a lot of our admin work through the classroom. So we can kind of show you what that looks like. We have our intake form posted here. Can you all see this? It looks like we might be a little slow internet. Are we good, Margarita?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we have our intake forms here. You just click on it. Your learners will click on the link. They will complete the intake form with all their demographic information, submit it, and then that's done. That gets sent to us. We can export it to a spreadsheet, and that's our class list. That's our class roster done. We go back again. We have our pre-survey, our final survey, and we have our attendance in there. Just so you're aware, Google Classroom doesn't track attendance. It doesn't track the usage of our participants. So we can't look at our report and say this person was in the classroom and they did this work at this time. So we have our learners submit their attendance on an attendance sheet whenever they come in at the start of class. Yeah, there we go. There's our Google Classroom. This is our Google Classroom presentation. So no one has any excuse once they're in there. Oh, that's even worse. That's a quiz.
So that is the quiz.
That's the quiz. Okay. So if we go down to the bottom, there's our presentation. Okay. So there's our presentation. It shows them how to use it. It's got reminders of how to get into the classroom, how to create and submit assignments. If we go and look at this from a student's perspective, this is what your learners will see. They'll only see the 3 pages, the stream, the classwork, and the people. The people shows them who their classmates are. They are not able to get any personal information about their classmates other than their name and their image. So you don't need to worry about your learners finding out too much about each other, finding out their personal information. Google protects all their personal information. So when a student goes into this, they will go to, let's see, they'll go to any random assignment. They click on the name of the assignment, then they'll click on view instructions. They'll read the instructions. And depending on whether they're asked to, what they're asked to do in the assignment, they'll follow those instructions. We have the actual assignments posted in here, but I would stress that that didn't work for us so well, did it, Margarita, in the beginning? Because we're like, we'll go paperless. The students will love it. We won't have to print booklets anymore. And then what happened?
Nope.
Yeah, they rebelled. They're like, no, we need the pieces of paper in front of us. So we do post the assignments here, but the learners have the paper in front of them. And to be honest, it works better because that way they can focus on doing the assignment on the computer and they have their paper in front of them to read and make notes. If this said, for example, create a Google document and describe the process of setting up a Gmail label, they'll simply go to add create, create a Google document or a slideshow. Wait for it to generate. Wait, it's kind of slow down here. Then all they have to do is click on it, do their work. Yay, work. Do their work. When they're finished, they can then turn it in to us. They can submit their work to us. And once they've turned it in, it's just like any school or college. They can't make any changes to it. They can't read it again. As you can see, I can't edit this anymore. I can only look at it because this now belongs to the literacy program. If they make mistakes and they want it back, they just have to unsubmit. That returns it to them. They can do their work and they can resubmit it. What that looks like on our end is, let me change back again. So from our end, what that looks like is our grades page. So if we take a look here, you'll see that not everything has been turned in. We are a literacy program and we understand that some of this is just too tough for our learners, and we're okay with that, aren't we, Margarita?
Yeah.
Yeah, we will meet people where they're at. We still meet with them every week in person so we can see their work. If it's confusing for them to turn it in, it's okay, it's fine. But let's have a little look at what would be a good one to take a look at here. How about this one? Let's try Mui's. Okay, so there's Mui. She's a wonderful student. Okay, so once they've turned it in, you then have the option to view and return their submission. So this is one of Margarita's students, and this is amazing. This is purely showing off here for Mui, because she's done an amazing job. So what did they have to do, Margarita? What was they had to do in this assignment?
My God. Yeah, so that is something they learn. So that is about them. So I believe that this is one of the last assignments. So when they finish, so they have to kind of put something together, apply the skill that they have learned during the 10 week. So they learn communication, they learn sharing, they learn how to copy paste, how to formatting, so everything. So it is so, I'm so amazed. By the way that
How old is Mui? I don't want to publicly shame Mui. She wouldn't mind. She loves us and we love her. How old is
gotta
Mui?
be around 85, 80 something.
Yes.
But it's,
yes.
My God. So she is so, I see the amazing stuff, that she has created, and the word, not only this also, using every application from Google.
And she started in our beginners class, very beginners class, without being able to do anything. And now she's got hyperlinks in here. She's got images.
Yes.
She's 85. So any of you sitting there online going, oh, I could never do this. My learners could never do this. I'm a dinosaur. No, this is an 85-year-old woman. And what she's done is amazing. And we can tell her that. So on the assignment, you can add a comment. I can't spell. This is awesome. Mui. We can post that, and then she'll get that feedback straight to her email, and then we can return the assignment and she'll be notified. We don't grade our students. We don't give them a number grade, but she'll be notified that it's been returned and it was fantastic, which it was. So that's kind of how the more academic one works. Let me close some of these so I don't get confused, because that happens pretty fast. And we'll take a look at the more communicative classroom. So this classroom here is more focused on, let me see, this classroom here is more focused on support and community and interaction. So we don't have students turn in assignments, and we don't grade them and we don't return them. We just want people to communicate. So let's take a look at what that looks like in our stream here. And this is the program that that Kathy referenced earlier, that came out of our family reading circle, where the students were like, we're not done, we want more. So as you can see in the stream section, it's not only us that can post, but the learners can post in there as well. Great class about volcanoes, woohoo! This was a great experience for us. So the learners themselves can post, make public posts too. Then you can go into classwork. And if you'll see our attendance here, and I love this attendance form. So I'll show you how it links to a spreadsheet. So the student, all they have to do is write their name and submit it. But if then we go in and we check out the responses, we have 442 responses. This was, what was that, a 4-week program or a 5-week program, Margarita?
That was 5.
5-week program. And in those 5 weeks, these learners went into the classroom 442 times to check out the materials that we'd posted for them. And we couldn't have been happier with it. It was such a thrill to do. I'm so glad that Margarita decided to do it. It was a fantastic program. And as you come down, you can see again, we've got the topics. We have art and culture, investigate. This was one of the most popular ones. We created just a super simple slideshow about Frida Kahlo, and it generated just this incredible discussion, this really in-depth, really meaningful discussion between the learners about her life. And we were so impressed with them. We've got a couple of comments in here, like we mentioned before. It's really important to get into the classroom and make sure you're responding to learners and make sure that you're supporting them and giving them the feedback that, yeah, you said something and we appreciate it. We're listening to you. So do bear that in mind. You do have to interact. After that, they went, we did a virtual tour of Frida Kahlo's Blue House on a Zoom meeting together. And again, they really enjoyed that. They loved it. As we were doing this class, they talked about, oh, I didn't know that you could do these virtual tours. And Margarita was talking about a trip she'd taken to Washington with her husband and the Smithsonian. So we're like, okay. So we went away and we posted a virtual tour of the Smithsonian. And yeah, again, there were lots of great comments on that. They really enjoyed visiting the museum and saying, oh, how great would that be to see in person? And they're not just interacting with us, they're interacting with each other. And we can really respond in time to what it is that they want and what they need from the classroom. I don't know how we're doing for time. So maybe we should skip to, do you want to skip to the how-to real fast, Margarita?
Yeah, because I believe the word.
Yeah, we're kind of running low on time here. Joining and finding your classroom is easy. If you notice, just very quickly, to add people to the classroom, there's no students in this classroom anymore because it's an archived class. To add students is really simple. You just hit invite, you type in their email address, and it will send them an invitation. They'll receive the invitation. It'll say, do you want to join the classroom? They'll hit join, and they're in. So it's that simple. Okay, so let's go back to this. I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to do a little how-to. Okay, so I'm going to kind of walk, Margarita and I are going to walk through just setting up your first Google Classroom if you've never done one before. Are you able to share your screen, Margarita?
I believe so.
Excellent. This is kind of how we do it in our classes. So one of us will walk the other one through it just as a way so the learners can hear the instruction, they can see it on the paper in front of them, and they can see it actually happening in real time as well.
Okay, so I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to do it.
Well, you're going to have to walk me through it then. You're going to have to walk me through it then. That's fine.
Yeah.
No problem.
Because
Okay.
I'm using...
No worries.
Go ahead.
I will go back in and you can walk me through it because it works
Okay.
either way. Okay, so I am in my, I'm going to close these down. I am in my Gmail account. So this is usually where people start off in their Gmail. They'll sign in. Where do I go now? How do I create a classroom?
A classroom, you go to your applications.
Yep. So I'll go to my Google applications. For those of you who didn't realize there were 1,000,001 applications, I'm sure you all did. I didn't until I came and started working here. I just thought it was my email. You come up here to your little waffle, which is what our students call it. And here you have all the free applications available with your Gmail account. And then I would go to.
Actually, I'm not sure that you're going to be able to add another one from there. So click.
I'm going to try.
So click on your
do you think my private
account to see in your private, because I'm not sure over here.
Okay.
We're gonna be able to do it.
Oh, I think we can. Let's see. We'll give it. Do you know what we'll do? We'll go into the literacy SPL one because we don't have many in there. Okay, perfect. So we go up to our things. We'll find our Google Classroom. Sometimes you'll have to scroll for it. It might be hiding down here, but you can always rearrange it and put it up at the top.
There you go.
Okay, so we'll hit our Google
There
Classroom.
you go.
There we go.
Got it. The plus sign.
Okay, so then you're going to hit the plus sign. We have 3 classrooms in there. Hit the plus sign.
And then click on create class.
Perfect. You'll see they have join class here. Every classroom has a code in it. That's another way to join the classroom. You just click on here. The teacher would give you the code, and that's another way to enter it. But we're not going to do that now. We're going to create a class. So create class. Okay. You have to check this. What's this for, Margarita?
So that one, so you need to select that one because I mean, so you are kind of acknowledging that this is for you, not for a school or something.
Yeah, you have to,
Yeah.
Google wants you to acknowledge that you're not a K-12 system. If you
Right.
are a K-12 system, they want you to use their special education
Right.
software. But we're not, so we just check it and say we're not working in a classroom in a school. Okay, then
Then, so
what's it called? What will we
yeah,
have?
practice or whatever you want to
Practice.
call it.
Okay, perfect. Something easy to spell.
Right. And what subject and session. So you can say C4 and
Mhm.
subject
What did I do?
disappear.
I got too excited.
I know.
Okay, you don't have to fill out all those things. You can see, I totally spelt it wrong.
Yeah.
Making me nervous now.
that's
Section
fine.
C4,
So you can
subject
put them in
C
the
goes
basic and then
S.
so you can come up and then edit it.
Okay,
So
perfect.
afterwards.
And then hit create. And then we wait. Well, Google generates a classroom.
Yeah.
And here's
There
our
you
new
go.
classroom. Ta-da! Okay, and that's it. So under class work, how would I create a topic or an assignment?
So hit the create the plus sign, so the blue button.
Okay.
And there, so you can select topic, assignment, quiz. So of course, it's gonna be first a topic, right?
Yeah, we usually do start here, and that's where we put the attendance.
Right.
Then under here, we might make, say, material. We might
Material.
add attendance. And we can post that. Don't post them in, you don't need to post anything initially. We usually save it as a draft, don't we, till we've both checked
Right.
it. This is also where you can schedule your post as well. Here you'd select the topic to nest it under. We've only got one topic, so we'll nest it under start here. Then we'll save it as a draft. And then when we go back here, we have our attendance in there, and we can just edit it and go in there and add a YouTube link, any attachments from our drive, upload files from the internet, add links. So you can put anything you want to in there. Is there anything else we should cover with setting up a classroom, or are we good?
I'm not sure how we are with the times.
I only got 5 minutes, so maybe we should. Maybe we did too much. 5 minutes for questions.
I mean, that is so much that you can learn. And I mean about the Google Classroom. So, but